I'm answering all the questions that I got. I want to tell you one thing: chemicals, preservatives. If I start to snacks, I don't add super processed. This is something that you have to forget about. You know what? I'll just eat it all. Drinking a shot of vodka, like, you don't have to. If you're not hungry, you don't have to. Hello guys, how are you? We are continuing today our topic of a weight journey, finding a balance with the food, and I just previous video posted just kind of like giving you an idea where I'm at today and where I've been and how I kind of balance my life and my diet. And I also ask you to just drop me questions that you want to ask me, and today's a video I'm answering all the questions that I got, not all of them, but the most interesting one, the one that I think are the most asked. So guys, let's go. Let's get into it, right? Okay, so I honestly did not choose any questions. That's how I kind of do it usually. So I will just go over and pick the most interesting one. Okay, so I think first we gotta start from this one. How do you deal when gaining weight? It's an interesting question that we all always ask, right? How do we deal with gaining weight? Honestly, I don't deal with this anymore. I used to. When your body is in balance, you don't have to fight it anymore, and you will not have this fluctuation of weight as much. But I want to tell you one thing, that this is something that we have to switch our mind to. It's normal that the body fluctuates. Like my personal weight probably fluctuates somewhere from 2 to 3 kilos. And again, I don't weigh myself for a very long time, but that's kind of how I already know approximately, I can feel it, you know? And it's absolutely natural. Like the body goes through different chemical processes, hormonal processes, so it's absolutely normal that your body will fluctuate and you will be a little bit heavier maybe on one part of the month, and then another part of the month you're slimming down. So I think this is something that you have to understand and educate a little bit more yourself on how the body function works. And for example, around my period, technically I always gain probably 2-3 kilos, and then eventually, like once my period stopped, I kind of feel like I have more energy, I can workout harder, and it's easier for me to eat lighter. So naturally I kind of go back to slimming down again. So I think you shouldn't be focused on always fighting, but just rather like trying to fix the actual root of the problem and stabilize your hormones, which also gonna stabilize your blood sugars and everything else. Next question: how did you get into habit of making a juice every morning? I start and then forget after a few days. It's a very good question, how to get in any of a healthy habit, right? I think to understand why you are incorporating this specific healthy habit into your daily routine. For example, for me, juicing in the morning, it helps a lot my bowel movements. So if I don't drink juices, very often I have constipation. So I know why I'm doing it, and that's why I keep consistent with it, because I see purpose behind that. Also, I think like buying a good juicer that is easy to use and not overcomplicated to like clean it also makes it easier. And also finding like a really good recipe that you personally like to drink. I found my perfect like green juice recipe that I like, and I also put on the same habit my daughter and my husband, so all of us kind of really have that excitement in the morning to make a juice together and have it together before like my husband goes to work and I start to work and Allegra goes to school. So it's our like little morning routine within our family. The next question seems like something that I experienced personally, and I know how much of a pain it can bring, where you have an anxiety about bad food. And here's the question: how do I cope with the anxiety of bad food? I want to treat myself and have a moment. It's a good question. So first of all, I want to say that something considered as bad food is been sold to us by dieting industry, right? Where it's obviously very profitable to sell all these diet pills and everything. So they claim food as being bad. I personally consider food as bad only when it's like full of chemicals, preservatives, super processed. This is something for me as a bad food. Like I don't eat like gross fast food that is like, there is nothing that is alive in there, you know? So this is for me is an unhealthy food. But unfortunately, nowadays we're labeling food that is even healthy as being unhealthy. Like for example, one of the things that I recently posted on my channel, what I eat in a day, and I've got a lot of questions. People have been surprised that I eat bread, and this is something that we label it as bad. The bread actually is not that bad. It is as a carb. It's an easy way to get a good nutrients, right? So I think all this idea of food being bad is absolute BS, and this is something that you have to forget about. The body needs all sort of nutrients, protein, right? Fats, carbs. Carbs are really something that body needs to be energized, to have like muscles and be strong and be toned, right? The whole idea of not eating carbs and being like skinny but wobbly is not sexy, doesn't look good. So I would say just removing this idea that the food is bad. There is a bad and good food is a step number one. There is no such thing. There's just food and that's about it. Like the whole thing of, oh, fruits are, if you're eating too much fruits before the bad, it's too bad. It's all bullshit. Like this is not true. So I think just like really forgetting about this concept. And I always say, in order to find that balance, you need to combine things that you love with things that are good for you, right? Like even with my daughter, I always laugh. Like I don't force her to eat all the vegetables, right? Because I experiment and I give her to try different things, but then I see that she doesn't like some and she likes some. And you know what? I just stick with the one she likes. If she likes broccoli, but she doesn't like carrots, she eats broccoli, okay? And that's all about balance. Like the girl eats broccoli and her pasta. Like she agreed on that healthy thing that she likes, and then she eats pasta, you know, as well, which is super healthy and she enjoys so much. So it's about finding things that you like within the healthy parameters, right? Also, as I always say, like start from also educating yourself on your body and also observing how you feel after you're eating certain food. It helps you to connect with yourself and the way you feel. And after a while, you kind of notice that after certain foods you don't feel as good, and naturally you don't really even want to eat it anymore. But I can tell you one thing: when the body is very depleted in calories and nutrients, you will have a lot of cravings and you will constantly think about food. So first thing is like really balance your diet so your body gets the right nutrients and will not have this crazy cravings. Okay, this one is a very good question, and I had few about snacks. How to not be snacking all day? How? So I have a very bad relationship with snacks. I'm not a snacker, said 100 times, and I noticed that it's something that helps me to stay in shape. Yes, you hear me right. I've been on many diets and where they say, oh, you have to snack in between, you have to be on top of it, you have to eat every 2 hours. I think that's again some of the like misconception of dieting where they say that snacks are good. Yes, they're good, but maybe not for everyone. Like for example, for me, it doesn't work. If I start to snack sometimes, I don't end. It goes constant. I feel it taste in my mouth. I want to go for more. Like I learned something. I do just fine without snacks. I'm in shape. Again, sometimes when I'm on the go and I don't have time to eat maybe on time and I'm really hungry, of course I'll snack. But on my regular routine, I don't snack. I think that it's better to have a proper balanced meal rather than you stuff yourself with nuts and crackers, you know, constantly. And like even with my husband, he loves snacking and he always says to me like, oh, I cannot lose weight. I eat so healthy, but I cannot lose weight. You know, he doesn't eat proper lunch because he's so busy at work. And then he rushed home and he eats tons of snacks, like tons of snacks, because obviously he's starving. And he eats all these nuts and crackers and cheese and everything. And then in the end, of course, he stuffed himself, which is a super, you know, rich calorie food. And then eventually he also, close to that snacking, he eats dinner. So he ended up overeating. So for me personally, snack doesn't work and I don't snack as much. As I said, I prefer to have like a balanced meal. And also I kind of like the feeling of when I get to the point where like I know approximately an hours where I'm getting hungry. I like to sit at the meal when I'm hungry. I don't like to be that feeling when I'm like eating just because I have to, you know, like for example in a restaurant, right? You feel like you have to order something and you have to eat it. So if I know I'm going to a restaurant and I have to eat in certain hours, I just wait until then. So I think you know, if you're trying to lose weight, again, if you're a snack person, totally fine, you can keep the snacks. But I feel like if your goal is to like lose weight, I feel like a lot of problems laying with the snacking problem. Do you eat burgers and pasta? What do you guys think? I'm married to Italian. Of course I eat pasta. Burgers I don't eat as much because I don't really like red meat. I mean, I eat chicken, I eat fish, I even eat prosciutto because I like it, but I just don't like the texture of red meat. So, but I do eat pasta. Don't eat it every day, but especially, as I said, like closer to my period where I really crave carbs, I love a good plate of pasta, especially when my husband cooks. But even so, I like more of risotto. I'm more of a rice person. Like I like sushi, I like risotto, like my husband more of a pasta person. But yes, I do eat pasta, and again, it's all about being balanced, and I don't eat it for every meal. And as I said, like I'm just listening to how I feel. Like for example, today, as I said, like I stopped my period yesterday, and today I'm just feel so energized. So I don't know, I just don't feel hungry even. So it's easier for me today to eat a lighter diet. But whenever I feel like I need this carbs, I go for pasta. And it's also about the quality of pasta. Like if I cook it at home with a good oil, with the good vegetables, it is healthy. Pasta is healthy. So that's something that also people think that pasta isn't healthy, but actually it is healthy. And also there are so many like good alternatives to a chickpea pasta, brown rice pasta, different varieties where you can switch it up and get different nutrients to your body within a pasta dish. Do you ever count calories intermittent fasting? So I don't count calories, said it many times, used to, long time ago. Done with that. I don't weigh myself, I don't count calories. I feel like it brings me a lot of stress. Also, like it's very unhealthy. I feel like for mental health, keep tracks of these things, because your body, this is something we all have to accept. The body goes through stages. It's a life and it fluctuates, and it's absolutely normal, and that's what called to be in a flow and a balance. It's just to go with the flow, what body needs, and just accept it and try to work around it. And trust me, you will feel and look your best when you will be in that balance. But intermediate fasting, I honestly don't know exactly what rules of intermediate fasting, but I like the idea of fasting. So for example, my personal intermediate fasting, it's this. I'll explain you. So let's say I'm a dinner person. I love dinners. We go out a lot for dinners, and this is something I can sacrifice because it's just part of our life, social life, and I just love going out in a restaurant, trying different foods. So because of that, we are kind of eating late. Like we are going to dinner 8:30, finishing let's say by 10. So I finish eating at 10. I go to bed let's say at 12. So it's 2 hours before the bedtime. Fine. When I wake up, because I had the dinner so late, I'm not hungry right away. So, and that's what I'm saying. It's called intuitive eating habits. I don't force myself to eat, even so everyone say that you have to eat breakfast. Breakfast is good. You have to eat breakfast. You don't have to. If you're not hungry, you don't have to. Some days when I'm hungry, I eat it. Usually, because I have dinner so late, I don't eat breakfast as early. I wait. Typically, I get hungry around 11:30. Like today, I actually ate at 11:30 because I was filming video and I was so busy and I was just like running around. So I have meal at 11:30. So it's technically 13 hours fasting, which is considered healthy. Anything, because I know there is like intermediate fasting when people fast for a lot of hours. That's not for me. And actually, I read in a book that for a women fasting and for a man fasting is a totally different thing. For men to fast for more than 12 hours is totally fine. For a woman, often to practice fasting longer than 12 hours, it can be bad for your hormonal system. So it is a safe window to fast about 12-13 hours. So that's what I do. Sometimes, some days you can fast 24 hours. They say it's okay to reset your body, but it shouldn't be in your regular routine. So I am fasting technically, but it's a quite short fasting. How you deal with desserts? Like, are you go with healthy option or do you eat whenever you want? So I like healthy desserts because I like how they taste, and I also like to make them. It's pretty, like I was doing all these raw vegan cakes and it's so fun to make them, and I also love to make them for my daughter. But I don't eat healthy desserts because they're healthy. I eat all sort of desserts. I eat a regular gelato, I eat a regular chocolate pudding, I eat whatever dessert I want, because I feel like when you say like, oh, I'm gonna only eat healthy desserts, there also contains calories, and they're pretty much the same as, technically they're still sugar and they're still calories as a regular dessert. But the problem is when you label yourself as something of a good food, I feel like, at least me, I have a tendency to eat more of it. Like I allowed myself, I said, oh, okay, that's healthy. You know what? I'll just eat it all. So I don't know. And I think it's something to do with me because I've been through so many dieting, and like labeling food as bad and good still engraved within me. Answering your question, I don't focus on eating only healthy desserts. I eat desserts that I personally like, and the main purpose of desserts is a pleasure. Okay, I feel like there's not many desserts that are bringing like a huge nutritious value. So I eat dessert for pleasure, and because of that, I pick the one I love. Okay, that one. How often do you drink? Good question. And there was some funny things on Instagram when I was posting on my vacation that I had like 6 alcoholic drinks, and people was like, wow, you have alcohol problems. Fun fact, I have a very high tolerance to alcohol. Truth, like really high. And I don't know why. Like I can have more than my husband and feel very little. I don't know if I should be proud of it or ashamed of it, but I'm not a cheap date. That's one thing for sure. I do drink alcohol. I know it's not healthy, but why do I drink? I mean, why do we all drink? I mean, I guess sometimes fun to relax, and it's part of also social activity, right? As bad as it sounds. But I also like the taste of some of the alcoholic beverage. Like I'm not gonna be like just drinking shot of vodka. Like no, that's not me. But I like to have like a good spicy margarita. That's a drink I love. Or I love to have an Aperol Spritz on like hot day in Europe. Or I like to have a red wine in Courchevel when we're skiing. Like it's, I don't know, it's just there is some drinks that reminds me also of some experiences and places, and I really enjoy having like a good drink. I don't drink because I want to get drunk. I drink because I enjoy the drink. So I do drink, and I think on a regular like routine, I usually don't, because I wake up pretty early to get my daughter to school, to work out, to work, and I do feel like it affects my focus, my mood, my energy. So on the regular weekdays, I try not to drink. Sometimes maybe I will have like a glass of wine. On the weekend, I definitely allow myself to have a drinks as much as I want. And when I go on a vacation, for sure I get a loose. And actually it's funny because now we're going on vacation and we know that we're gonna be drinking more, eating more. So we're actually doing a little like a challenge with my husband of being 4 weeks without alcohol. Even so we cheated once, we had a glass of wine. But we just like, it's not something that we are doing because we wanna, I don't know, to achieve something, but I guess it just makes sense because it seems like it is a balance, right? To kind of cleanse your body a little bit before we go and make some damage. I think that's kind of realistic life, right? But yeah, everything in moderation, definitely. I mean, even so 6 drinks, I don't think it's a moderation. Don't take my example. But again, I don't have 6 drinks very often, but yeah, I do drink alcohol. And I do feel like if your goal to slim down and lose weight, alcohol is number one that you have to remove for sure, because it's not healthy, it's not good for metabolism, it's not good for many things. So depending what's your goal. My goal is not slimming down and losing weight, so it's more about just sustaining a good healthy life. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed filming it. Let me know if you have any additional questions. Thank you so much for so many interesting questions. I hope you loved this type of video about weight, about finding the balance. It's all gonna go into our chit chat video section with me, talking all the women's stuff that we are having, going through, problems, joy, everything. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. And I think that this week before I leave, I'm trying to feel a workout challenge. I really have my fingers crossed that I'll be able to complete it before I leave and I can launch it July. Yeah, but yeah, we're gonna do it. So stay tuned. Love you all. Bye.